This week's only episode of South Park was called Sponsored Content, and it again saw one of the South Park children coming to metaphorical blows with PC Principal, only it wasn't Cartman or any of the other four main boys. In fact, they're barely in this episode at all. No, PC Principal's foe this time around is Jimmy Vollmer, the editor of the school newspaper, who clashes with the principal over the word retarded appearing in the paper. You know, it's funny to see the big issue between these two characters be about Jimmy as a journalist and not him taking issue with the principal as a comedian. I really expected them to go in that direction and they didn't. But I suppose really when you break it down, Jimmy was the only character who could be a proper foil to PC Principal. Jimmy's always been a good kid, steroids aside, and we ultimately see him become PC Principal's kryptonite. Jimmy represents freedom of the press, and when he feels he's being silenced, he doesn't freak out, he doesn't make a big deal about it, he just kindly takes his message elsewhere. This causes the principal much distress as he feels that he speaks for marginalized groups like Jimmy. And go figure, the adults of South Park end up truly liking Jimmy's paper and the lack of ads like the ones you find on the internet. I of course can only speak for myself and my own experience, but it's true that people of a certain age have a hard time filtering the crap from the actual information while online. Things get really heated when PC Principal tries to smooth things over with Jimmy by inviting him and other kids to the PC Bros frat house for a party, where all the members seem much more interested in getting laid than they do with their special guest. Now, I've complained before about PC Principal being more or less a one-note joke who, worked in his first episode but really doesn't have much to do after that. This episode does attempt to give him just a little bit more depth. For a second here, you get the feeling that he truly is disappointed and disgusted with how his frat mates are acting, and it seems like he's the only one who truly cares about being socially conscious and not just using it as a mask for his own bro-ish behavior. I would have liked to have seen this get explored a little bit more, but pretty much out of nowhere, the ad storyline and the Jimmy storyline end up getting smashed together when Jimmy gets whisked away by Bar Brady of all people to learn about the conspiracy that's been taking place in South Park. Yes, the writers are using this season's continuity to their advantage and opting to tell a long-form story for the finale, one that also involves Mr. Garrison's Donald Trump-style presidential campaign coming back up, and even the return of the ousted Principal Victoria. Ooh, she's walking with a cane now, how crazy. You see, the thing is, Jimmy has the amazing ability to tell the difference between news and ads, which, like I said before, is a skill most people of a certain age who grew up with the internet had anyway, but this becomes important when we find out that the ads are becoming more devious now. They've been forced to evolve because of all the ad blocks people use. There may be a moment when you can't tell the difference between a person you've known forever and an ad. Whoa, how Blade Runner. Also, as someone who's been playing Fallout 4 all week, I couldn't help but be reminded of the synths as well. Whether or not this twist will amount to anything or conclude in a non-ending like last season's is yet to be seen. Let's not forget, South Park gets written weekly, so they could just as easily dump their ending if something more interesting happened during the next couple of weeks in the news. Or, we could have another ending with, guinea pigs in costumes. That's always an option as well. Or crab people. Never ever count out crab people. Sponsored Content was an episode that I felt was way more interesting than it was funny. I mean, I had a pretty good chuckle about the bit about guys in suits who used to read the news, but that was really about it. The whole bigger continuity-driven story basically stopped the whole social commentary stuff dead, and I wasn't exactly digging on that either for the most part. My hope is that all this build-up will have a satisfying conclusion, but until then, I give this episode a 5 out of 10. I get the feeling at this point, South Park fans, you're either in to these more long-form stories or you're not. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my newest video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll feel like checking out some more videos I have on offer here at Cape Joel.